Hello and welcome to the Average Coder community. In this C# tutorial, we are going to learn about classes, structures, and namespaces. Alright, let's begin from trying to understand what class is. This lesson going to be really complicated, so pay attention a lot. Alright, so the easiest way to understand what class is by understanding what is an object. So object is absolutely anything, but let's go a bit specific. For example, we have a dog. So how can you subscribe the dog? Well, it's probably have a name, what type of breed it is, and size of it, like weight or width or height, I don't know. So class is basically when you are talking about an object in general, when you are trying to subscribe it but without giving it specific value. So for example, let's create class dog. So yeah, as you may see, main class, it's similar to the main function. Basically, when you start program, it's search for the main class and it's search for the main function inside of it to start the program. Alright, it hopefully makes sense. So let's create dog class. To create class, let's write class dog. It's a good tone in programming to name class beginning with capital letter, and after it you're going to put these curly brackets. Alright, so congratulations, we created a class. So class can have, as I already said, can have variables that will be subscribe an object in general. So let's create few things, few variables to this class. So let's create name. After it, we are going to create bread, and so on. So yeah, we created quite a few parameters to this class. So you can have parameters in main class too. So the biggest difference, let's give it another way. So class can not only subscribe different like variables, like things about object, and can subscribe what object can do. So for example, like dog can run, or it can go, or it can stay, and so on. So for example, let's create even more private. And speed. So the biggest difference between this variable that I can create inside of the function and the variable that you have to put before the function is that you can use this variable in different functions. So if you create a variable inside of the function, then you can use it only inside of that method, and better to say. So, but if you are creating them outside of the function, but inside of the class, then you can use these variables in all of the different methods inside of this class. So let's create public void speed increment. So class, alright, so this function going to increase speed by 5, and let's create decrement, and it will decrease speed by 5. It will decrease speed by 5, and let's create one more function, and it's going to be right. So we created class dog, and we created 3 different methods. So as you see, we can use these variables inside any of these methods. So now let's talk about private and public. So what is private and public? Public means that you can use it anywhere except anywhere. But private means that you can use it only inside of the class. So if we try to create class, so class is basically, name of the class is basically a new data type. So let's create a dog, name it dog equals new dog brackets.com. So we created an object of the class with name dog, right? And to access any of these variables or any of this function, you are going to write name of the object, put the dot after it, and after it you have to refer to it by name. So for example, let's try to increase speed increment dot, and after it let's print it out. So dot print speed, and if I run this code, then we're going to end up with 5. So right, so what is private again? So we can access this function on these 2 functions, this and this, basically even all of these functions outside of the class, because they are public, and that means that you can use it by using this dot and writing its name. But if we try to access speed, for example, and run this code, then we're going to end up with mistake, because speed is private and we can't use it outside of this brackets. Alright? I hope it makes sense. So you can have a array of objects of n class and so on. So yeah, we can have lots of different classes and so on, etc. Alright, now let's talk about namespaces. So what is an namespace? You may think about it as the last name of an function or class and so on. So sometimes when you are creating some kind of variable or some kind of class, its name can be already used, and you can not name classes by using same name. So class dog, and you can't create another class dog. So class dog, run it, and as you may see, it's mistake, because we can't have classes with similar names, same as about, functions, and variables. But alright, we can create functions with same name, but it's a method overriding, but we'll talk about it a bit later. So yeah, so you won't use namespace to be able to create more than one. So by using namespace, you can create classes with same name. So as I said, you may think about it as the last name of n class and so on. So namespace, let's create new namespace. Let's just call it hello, and right between these brackets, class dog. And if we try to run it, then it don't show us the problem, because this class dog is under this namespace, and if you want to use this namespace inside of this namespace, then you are going to put right over here, let's delete this speed because it hurts my eyes. Hello, I'm sorry. Hello dot dog 1 equals new hello dot dog, and due to this structure we can create two dogs. So let's create public variable that is going to be int and is going to be called I and equal 1, and let's try to go out sorry, it was C++ thing. This dog 1 dot I console Right. Right. And if we run it, then we're going to end up with 5 and 1. So you may think, as I said about it, as the last name of the class. So if you want to create something, then you're going to refer it by namespace by putting it. If you want to use something outside of the namespace, then you can refer to this object by using namespace. Because if you are creating dog inside of this namespace, then it's going to think about the dog class inside of this namespace. But if we don't have this namespace, then dog will be considered, then it probably will show right over here a mistake, because that's no dog inside of this namespace. Right? It can't see dog. Alright, I hope it makes sense. So the last thing that we're going to learn inside of this tutorial is structure. So what is an structure? Structure is similar to the classes, but the only difference between structure and classes is that structure can't have methods inside of it. It can store only variables. So let's create struct. It will be static. Call it struct. Then between these brackets we're going to put public int I, public char a, and let's put it even outside of the class, cause yeah. Now let's create struct object inside of this. Inside of this class. So s is going to be private that equals new struct, and now we created an object, and let's save inside of the I1, and inside of the A we're going to save B. So console s I and A, and alright, you have to write constructor. Static, and then we want to put inside of the s value, and yep, we call the first is from the class, second is from the structure, and the last one is from the char or inside of the structure. So that's all for this video. So if you like it, don't forget to subscribe, comment it down below, hit the notification bell. See ya. Bye.